chapter 16. In the 6th and 30th year of the reign of Asa, Baasa, king of Israel, went up against Judah, and built Ramah, that he might not suffer any to go out or come in to Asa, king of Judah. Then Asa brought out silver and gold out of the treasures of the house of the Lord, and the king's house, and sent to Benhadad, king of Aram, that dwelt at Damascus, saying, There is a league between me and you, as there was between my father and your father. Behold, I have sent you silver and gold. Go break your league with Baasa, king of Israel, that he may depart from me. And Benhadad hearkened unto King Asa, and sent the captains of the armies against the cities of Israel. And they smote Eon, and Dan, and Abel-maim, and all the cities of Naphtali. And it came to pass, when Baasa heard thereof, that he left off building Ramah, and let his work cease. Then Asa the king took all Judah, and they carried away the stones of Ramah, and the timber thereof, wherewith Baasa had builded, and he built therewith Geba and Mizpah. And at that time Hanani the seer came to Asa king of Judah, and said unto him, Because you have relied on the king of Aram, and have not relied on the Lord your God, therefore is the host of the king of Aram escaped out of your hand. Were not the Ethiopians and the Lubim a huge host, the chariots and the horsemen exceeding many? Yet because you didst rely on the Lord, he delivered them into your hand. For the eyes of the Lord run to and fro throughout the whole earth, to show himself strong in the behalf of them whose heart is whole toward him. Herein you have done foolishly, for from henceforth you shall have wars. Then Asa was wroth with the seer, and put him in the prison house, for he was in a rage with him because of this thing. And Asa oppressed some of the people the same time. And behold, the acts of Asa, first and last, lo, they are written in the book of the kings of Judah and Israel. And in the 39th year of his reign, Asa was diseased in his feet. His disease was exceeding great, yet in his disease he sought not the Lord, but to the physicians. And Asa slept with his fathers, and died in the 41st year of his reign. And they buried him in his own sepulchres, which he had hewn out for himself in the city of David, and laid him in the bed which was filled with sweet odors and divers kinds of spices, prepared by the perfumer's art, and they made a very great burning for him. All right, we're going to go back up to verse 1, and we remember we are continuing now in this reign of Asa, this period of Asa, this period when he would be the king, this example even God would make at that time. And Asa's been right before the Lord. He's walked before the Lord like his father Abijah did, and he's until the 35th year of his reign, we'll find out. Then something you might say comes over Asa. Asa is this healer of the injury, we'll find. And we're going to go ahead and pick it up here in verse 1. In the 6th and 30th year of the reign of Asa, Baasa king of Israel went up against Judah, and built Ramah, that he might not suffer any to go out or come in to Asa king of Judah. And in the 6th and 30th year of the reign of Asa, and this six is always the work of man. 6 days shall you do your work. It represents the work of man. And the 30th year, 30, and this portion of 30, 30 is dedication, but it is to complete the law, and 3/10 is to complete the law, even this portion, this 30th, of the greater understanding that year, and that would be that cycle of days of the reign of Asa, this period of Asa, and Asa is that healer of the injury. Did Baasa, king of Israel, went up against Judah, and during this period of Asa's reign, Baasa, he is the king of Israel. Baasa means that stinks, that which stinks, that causes to stink. And we'll find he is the king of Israel. Those that even that contend with the mighty one. He comes up against Judah. He comes up to do battle against them, and he builds Ramah, and he's going to build a fortress there. And Ramah means hill, and there in Ramah is a high place, and it's been there for a long time. It's never been destroyed, and so Baasa comes to build it up again, so that nobody could go out or come in. Everybody was falling away to Asa. So Baasa builds the high place back up to stop this, so everybody will turn back unto his kingdom too. Then Asa brought out silver and gold out of the treasures of the house of the Lord, and out of the king's house, and sent to Benhadad, king of Edom, that dwelt at Damascus, saying. So Asa, instead of turning to God, as we'll find out, he goes and takes silver and gold out of the treasures of the house of God, and out of the king's house too. And this silver and this gold, that's which been passed through the fire and purified, representing all those that have had to go, have no understanding, have to pass through the fires of judgment to be purified, to achieve their understanding. And this gold, that which belongs to God, it represents all the understanding that belonged to God that they will find in the end. They try to steal and put over their own images. But he takes this silver and this gold out of God's house and out of the king's house, and he sends it to Ben-Hadad. Ben is son, and Hadad is this mighty one. Hadad is this might, or this ability to do that goes forth quietly, so that no one can see the power that's moving, the strength that's moving. And he's the king of Edom. And Aram are those exalted ones. They are the exalted from the palaces, are these that represent all this high places and this nobility from long ago. And they dwelled at Damascus. Damascus is the place where the sackcloth weaver is working silently as well. And this sackcloth weaver weaving those garments of mourning, even preparing for the great morning that is coming. 3. And there is a league between me and you, as there was between my father and your father. Behold, I have sent you silver and gold. Go break the league with Baasa, king of Israel, that he may depart from me. So Asa sends the silver and gold over to Ben-Hadad, and buys him the army, buys him this kingdom of Aram, and he says, go up against Baasa and drive him out from before me. And we'll find he's just hiring an enemy, right, his own enemy, against his brethren. 4. And Ben-Hadad hearkened unto King Asa, and sent the captains of his armies against the cities of Israel. And they smote Eon, and Dan, and Abel-Maim, and all the store cities of Naphtali. These store cities, this is the place where God's store, or they store all the substances and stuff, and this would break more than when they rob all the storehouses. This will do a lot more damage than just to those cities, for that would be where all these lesser towns and cities and these ones that would dwell in the open field would store everything they had. Ben-Hadad, once again, this one who moves quietly, these great strengths, this abilities that are moving silently. He's the king of Aram. He does what Asa, this healer of injury, asks him to do, and he sends his armies, and they smote Eon. Eon are those heaps of ruin. They represent these heaps of ruin, even these places where they keep building on them time after time. And Dan is the judge, or this one who represents this judge. A judge, this one who is between the law and your punishment. And Abel-Maim, Abel is a meadow, a meadow. It's like a field, a nice green field, and these Abel-Maim are the waters, this field of waters, even, and all the store cities, these places, these waters represent understanding. These source cities are where they stored up. Naphtali is that place of twistings. These twistings were for strength, even. 5. And it came to pass, when Baasa heard thereof, that he left off building Ramah and let his work to cease. So, when Baasa hears that Asa is sending down this king of Aram, and he sees that Aram's conquering his kingdoms to the north, that he leaves off building Ramah, that high place from long ago, even that hill. That's that hill and that city that was up on it, that high place. 6. Then Asa the king took all Judah, and they carried away the stones of Ramah, the timber thereof, wherewith Baasa had builded, and he built therewith Gabah and Mizpah. So Asa takes all Judah, and he goes up, those praisings, and he carries away these stones of Ramah, and the timber thereof, this timber that which come from these trees that were hewn down, these that exalted themselves in the forest, and these things that he was building these high places with. And what he did was he takes them and he goes and builds other cities with these things that Baasa, this that stinks, was using to build with. And he builds Gabah. And Gabah is also a hill. We remember Gabah, that those of long ago, that was that covenant that they made, which they probably shouldn't have made long ago, with Gibeah, those of that hill city. And Mizpah is the watchtower. Mizpah is that watchtower, that place for the watchman to stand. 7. And at that time, Kanani, the seer, came to Asa, king of Judah, and said to him, because you have relied on the king of Aram, and not relied on the Lord your God, therefore is the host of the king of Aram escaped out of your hand. And Kanani is my grace, or my pity, or I show favoritism to. We'll find out that he is the seer, this one who understands these visions of these things that are happening. What's going on are the visions of that to come. He came to Asa. He is the king of Judah. As we see, Judah and Israel are being separated here. Asa is that healer of the injury. He's the king of praisings. And he said unto him, because you've relied on the king of Aram, you've relied on this king of those from the exalted, these other kingdoms, see, these other kingdoms that God had set under you because of your obedience, and you didn't rely on God, the Lord your God, therefore the host of the king of Aram has escaped out of your hand. The host of them, all those that were under the dominion of the king of those exalted ones that come from this place of nobility. They represent even the kings from the times past. They've escaped out of your works. 8. Were not the Ethiopians and the Lubim a huge host, with chariots and horsemen exceedingly many? Yet, because you didst rely on the Lord, he delivered them into your hand. And these Ethiopians, it doesn't say Ethiopians. I don't know if the word Ethiopian ever appears in the text. This word is Cushi, and the Cushi refers to it means dark or darkness, that's what we're talking about, those of darkness. And the Lubim, remember the Lubim? Those were the empty-hearted. And it refers those that are empty of understanding, those that have a vessel, and the understanding of it is gone from it, and they thirst, and their canteens empty, so to speak. They was a great host as well, with chariots and horsemen, these war machines, and these men of great strength that ride upon them. Yet when you relied on God, See, he slayed them when they relied on the Lord, their God. He did deliver them into their hand. 9. For the eyes of the Lord run to and fro throughout the whole earth, to show himself strong in the behalf of them whose heart is whole toward him. Herein you have done foolishly, for from henceforth you shall have wars. And the eyes of God do go to and fro constantly upon the whole earth. He's looking for those who observe his law, who have understanding. See, it's an automatic thing. It's an automatic. It's like gravity. It's like gravity. It's just an automatic thing that whatever goes up comes down. And you can go as high as you want, keep one foot on the ground. God's looking to show himself strong on behalf of anybody whose heart is whole toward him, anybody who seeks the Lord, God. One gives the law and keeps the law. But we'll find out the king had done foolishly, and Hanani was telling him. 10. Then Asa was wroth with the seer, and put him in the prison house, for he was in a rage with him because of this thing. And Asa oppressed some of the people the same time. And Asa was angry with the seer. He wasn't happy with what the seer told him. He wasn't happy with the vision that was being seen, because he had went and stripped the house of God of its treasures, and stripped the king's house of its treasures. We'll find out, and turned to the king of Edom, Benadad. God was going to punish him. He didn't turn to God. See, he should have turned on God and relied on God for all of his strength. And Asa gets mad with the seer, gets mad with Hanani, and throws him into the prison house because he's in a rage over it. He's in a rage over it because we'll see now. He's done well before the Lord, but at the end he turns, see, and all his righteousness is forgotten because of his sin. See, and this is the lesson, because God punishes everybody for his own sin. See, and the righteous man, when he turns from his righteousness, he shall die for the sin that he commits. And the unrighteous man, when he turns from his unrighteousness, he shall live, because he did turn. See, and that's what the lesson is. Turn, but make sure you turn to God. 11. Behold, the acts of Asa, first and last, lo, they are written in the book of the kings of Israel. All these acts of Asa, this one who healed the injured, who was to bring back, who was to cause the injury to be healed, who obeyed the law of God, who was bringing everybody back, first and last, everything that he did, from the beginning to the end, they're written in the book of the kings. And then we'll find there written in the book of the kings, and these words that were there to last, so we could see them, we could witness them. See, and what they did, these kings of Judah, these kings of praisings, these kings of Judah and Israel, those that contend with the mighty one. 12. And in the 39th year of his reign, Asa was diseased in his feet, and his disease was exceeding great. Yet his disease he sought not the Lord, but to the physicians. And in the 39th year of his reign, and 30, that's 3 tens, that's to complete the law on this dedication, and this 9th year, because there's 9 is a harvest. See, there's a harvest in the 9th year. That's that greater understanding of his reign. Asa was diseased in his feet, and this healer of the injury was diseased in his feet. We'll find these feet are that which you go by, his paths. And his disease was exceedingly great. It was a sickness caused by the Lord. God had brought it on him, even this disease. He sought not the Lord, but to physicians. And the physicians would come in and rub some butter or something on it, and sprinkle something that smelled good to hide the odor, but his feet were rotting. See, but he wouldn't go to the Lord. He went to the physicians, and they don't know a whole lot. 13. And Asa slept with his fathers, and died in 41st year of his reign. And Asa It's one that heals the injuries. He sleeps with his fathers, like the rest of them. We all pass on. See, that's a given. He sleeps with his fathers, those that were before him, and he died in the 41st year of his reign. And this one is the beginning. The 40th, the work of God in the law, even that portion, the 40th, the work of God is 4, and the 10s, that's the law, that's probation, as some would see it. This 40th, it's a period of when God's working the law, in the greater understanding even of this reign of Asa, we'll find out. 14. And they buried him in his own sepulchre, which he had hewn out for himself in the city of David. And they laid him in the bed which was filled with sweet odors, and divers kinds of spices prepared by perfumers' art. And they made a very great burning for him. And they bury Asa there in his own sepulchre. This we'll find this grave he carved out for himself in the city of David, in that city of the beloved. David is the chosen one, and that city there, that will be Zion. That's that parched place. And they laid him in the bed which was filled with these sweet odors, all these pleasant smells, and all these different spices, different kinds of spices that would make this odor. All these things, these art of the perfumers would make. And these art of the perfumers, those who would mix these spices to create different odors that would be pleasant. See, and they all represent the stirring, telling you whatever you want to hear to make you happy, more or less. And they made a great burning for him. They made a great burning. This burning, it actually means the act of burning, to be burnt, that which is burnt or being burned. And this burning is beyond me. It would be not according to that which would be of the law of God, but it's more like a mourning, most likely, a great mourning, in those that would show it. We're going to move forward from here. We're going to go to chapter 17. Turn and return.